against the snowball. Yes, Meredith had kissed him and not Joss, but that didn't change the fact that Joss had gone out with her. They were supposed to be friends, and friends can tell when a guy likes a girl, even without the guy saying something. Even Henry had figured it out, and Vlad hadn't told him. Henry could just tell, so why couldn't Joss? It was an exceptionally warm March day, so Vlad slipped off his jacket and draped it over his arm. March. He could hardly believe that he hadn't heard from his Uncle Otis in 3 months, ever since the day they parted after their trip to Siberia. Vlad had written Otis immediately following Jasik's attack, and had continued to do so once a week in increasingly worried tones, but he'd heard nothing back. At least the months since the attack had been blissfully free of Jasik, and there had been no sign of the slayer Otis had warned him about. But there was always the possibility that Otis had received misinformation. What if there was no slayer? What if it was just Jasik, the thief, in Bathory? Still, Vlad had kept close to his house and the school, never going anywhere alone, just to be safe, and he continued to worry about Otis. They walked between houses, leaving Henry behind at the school for yet another student council meeting. Before they could move out from between the houses directly across the street from Nellie's, Joss hesitated and croaked, "I need to talk to you." He looked pleadingly at Vlad, but there was no way Vlad was going to make it any easier on him. Dude, friend code, violated. Joss would have to deal. Joss took a deep breath, steadied himself, and said, "I feel terrible about what I did to you. I knew you liked Meredith, but when she asked me to the dance, I couldn't believe it. She's just so pretty and funny and smart and not helping the situation." Vlad pursed his lips, picturing the first time he'd seen Meredith. They were in the 3rd grade, and Meredith was the new kid. She stood in front of the class, all scared and timid, twisting the pink ribbon in her hair tightly around her fingertip. She looked so frightened. All Vlad wanted to do was to take her hand and protect her. "I'm sorry, okay? I was way wrong, and now I feel like I've screwed up our friendship, and I feel terrible, Vlad." Joss met Vlad's gaze on his eyes. "Please, there's gotta be something I can do to make this up to you." Vlad adjusted the strap of his backpack on his shoulder and tensed his jaw, still angry. "Next time you think I like someone, don't ignore that thought, okay? You really hurt my feelings, Joss. I thought we were friends." "We are." Joss dropped his bag on the ground, his cheeks flushing some. "To be honest, other than Henry, you're my only friend, and he's family. If he doesn't hang out with me, his mom will ground him." Vlad groaned as a sudden, unexpected flash of guilt shot through him. "That's not why he hangs out with you, Joss. Henry likes you. We both think you're pretty cool. When you're not dating girls we like." He sighed and dropped his backpack next to Joss's. Maybe he'd been too hard on Joss. Maybe he could consider this time served. After all, in the end, all Joss was guilty of was accepting an invitation to the dance. "Look, I haven't even told Henry how much I really like Meredith, and when you went to the dance with her, it just felt like you took our friendship and flushed it. That's hard to get over." "I'll never do anything like that again, I swear, okay?" Joss sighed, a cloud of loss, cause hanging over him. Can we be friends again?" Vlad ran a hand through his hair, brushing it away from his eyes, and mentally kicked himself. A large part of him wanted to hold this grudge forever, but he knew he couldn't. This was Joss. He was almost as important to Vlad as Henry. We never stopped being friends. Just because I'm mad at you doesn't mean we're not friends. Immense relief crossed Joss's eyes. Both boys were silent a while until Joss cleared his throat. "So you really like her, huh?" Vlad released a tense breath. He felt like he'd been holding it in since he heard about Meredith's snowball plans. "Yeah, I do." Joss eyed him for a moment, then said, "That took a lot of trust, spilling your guts like that." "Well, I trust you." Vlad shrugged, suddenly feeling lighter, better after clearing the air. "I trust you, too, Vlad. Is it something bad? No, not really. I mean, I'm really proud of it. I just don't get to talk about it much. Plus, it's tied to a real problem I have, and I've been thinking maybe you could help me with that. Vlad waited, but Joss didn't continue. I can't help you if you don't tell me. I will. It's just hard, you know. I never tell anyone, and I need to talk to someone, and you know the town, the people. You have an open mind, judging by your book collection. I feel like I can trust you, like I finally have a friend that I'm not related to. He looked over his shoulder and then past Vlad as if making certain they were alone. I'm almost out of time. If I don't finish soon, I could be in serious trouble. Vlad wrinkled his brow. Something in the pit of his stomach lurched forward, almost setting him off balance. It was his nerves. Something felt wrong. Dude, what's up? Is everything okay? By the look on Joss's face, everything most certainly was not okay. He licked his lips and flashed a nervous glance over his shoulder again. I need your help. Vlad wasn't entirely sure he wanted to hear whatever it was that Joss wanted to tell him, especially the more Joss rambled. His nerves moved and clenched, tying his stomach into tight, nervous knots. Joss leaned in, keeping his voice low. Listen, I'm seriously breaking protocol by telling you this. Hell, I broke a protocol by coming here in the first place. Private gigs are prohibited. What was I thinking? He shook his head, as if silently chastising himself. I can't tell Henry, and you're the only other person here that I trust, Vlad. And now, with my 9-month contract nearing an end, I need help to finish the job. Truth be told, I haven't even started, and I wouldn't normally freak out about it, but the guy that hired me is making threats on my life, and I'm pretty sure he'll deliver if I don't. Vlad nodded as if he understood, but he didn't. Not really. Joss paused a moment as if he was searching for the right words. I didn't move here because of my parents. I came here on my own because I have a job to do. Vlad could feel himself leaning forward slightly in anticipation. What job? What are you talking about? Joss held his gaze. My dad works for this company that moves us all around the world. But the thing is, neither of my parents realize that I'm the one really working for them. Dad's job is just a cover-up that neither of them is aware of. Vlad raised an eyebrow and tried to act casual. For what? For my job. I'm a slayer. Joss nodded matter-of-factly. A vampire slayer. No. His eyes were clear, cold, and honest, and no matter how hard Vlad tried, he couldn't find a joke within them. No, not Joss. I was contracted at the beginning of the school year to hunt and kill a vampire that's been lurking around Bathory. It's a private gig, something that the Slayer Society frowns on. Slayers have been banished for taking contracts, which is serious business. If a vampire ever threatens you or your family, you're on your own then. But when I learned that this vampire has been living undercover right in the middle of my cousin's hometown, I couldn't say no. Vlad, you've got to protect your family. Joss's shoulders relaxed as if a great weight had been lifted from them. It was tough convincing my parents that I needed to come stay with Aunt Matilda and Uncle Pete for the year. Normally the society does my convincing for me. It's always tough lying to my mom and dad, but with Henry's life on the line, not to mention his brother and parents, there was no way I was going to let this one live. The knots in Vlad's stomach tightened further until his midsection felt like a solid, heavy mass. But vampires aren't real. Joss leaned in close, as if they shared a morbid secret. Strangely, Vlad thought they did. Oh yes, they are, Vlad. I know. I've killed them. Vlad swallowed hard and darted his eyes from Joss to the ground and back. How did you kill them? Joss's tone was frighteningly calm. Oh, lots of ways. Stake through the heart, mostly. I've dragged a few out into the daylight while they were sleeping. Chopped off a head once. It's pretty brutal, but I believe in Yes, I leave them there. Once the job is done, it's done. I contact the society for cleanup and go home. Vlad dropped his gaze to the ground between them. It was just a few feet, but it felt worlds apart. What have you missed? In a flash, Joss grabbed Vlad's wrist and twisted. Before Vlad knew what happened, Joss had spun Vlad into a headlock, still holding his wrist. The stake was in Joss's right hand. Vlad didn't even remember letting go of it, yet here it was, being thrust through the air toward the center of Vlad's chest. Vlad's head swooned, and the color escaped from his face, making him even paler. He had asked too many questions. Joss had noticed his tattoo. There had to have been something he let slip, because somehow Joss had realized that Vlad was the only vampire in Bathory, and his friend was about to kill him. The silver tip of the stake sparkled in the sunlight, however less than a quarter of an inch above where Vlad's heart beat forcefully against his chest. His eyes were wide and his breath came in quick, nervous gulps. Joss's whispered voice in his ear confirmed that he wasn't dead yet. I never miss. Cold determination echoed in his words as Joss lowered the stake and released his friend. Then Joss smiled in bemusement at the look of frozen shock on Vlad's face. Look, Vlad, I can understand your